Yeah, I guess the reason I ran for school board, I ran last election, and that first reason was there was some things lacking in the La Crosse School District in terms of transparency, basically the message around the district, what their long-term goals were. I grew up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I have 2 children in the district, a bunch of nieces and nephews in the district, and just felt like it was time to try to make a little bit of difference. I think there's 2 reasons. So last election there was 9 people running. I think people were under the assumption, because of all of the static and a lot of the things going around, or a lot of the things going on in the district right now, there would be a lot more people running again. So I think people just didn't want to. And then when obviously 2 people were running for 3 seats, it kind of changed everybody's mind again. So I think that's why you're seeing the high numbers of writing candidates coming. I don't think it's a bad plan, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the community that has a say. It's their tax-paying money that goes towards these things. So getting their opinion through a referendum isn't a horrible idea. I think it's a good idea. When we're always talking about closing schools, it makes everybody a little bbit nervous, especially if you're in a boundary where your school could be closed. It's not an easy decision to be made when you have numbers of kids declining every year. However, with that being said, I think there's a lot to be said for the community and their voices, and their voice really stands out that they want their neighborhood schools. So if there's a way of finding out to keep those in place, I think that is something that needs to definitely be looked at. If that's in regards to looking at the budget a little bit more, finding out ways that we can save some more money to make sure that these schools exist and keeping everybody happy. Yeah, I think the biggest part about it is like digging into the budget, right? When I was on the facility advisory committee, and I feel like a lot of people weren't getting all the information that they needed. I think that there's a lot of missing numbers when it comes to that. There was a few people that have spoken the school board meetings themselves, explaining that the budgets are a little bit skewed in the way they're being communicated to the public. So, if I do get on the board, I will definitely be an advocate of looking into that a little bit more, and finding ways of moving some money around if that's the case, to make these neighborhood schools. At the end of the day, we as board members are elected by the community, and it's truly the community that is the one that makes the decision. So for us to be their voice is truly something that I will try to achieve. Yeah, I mean, we definitely looked into every aspect of those schools that were, up for closure. Some things that we would have liked to maybe dig into a little bit more that we weren't allowed to, just because of the constraints of how the facility was set up, or the committee was set up. So, digging into that a little bit more. None of the school board members were on that committee, obviously for reasons. Most of them did listen into those meetings. I mean, there was 8 of them in the span of 8 months, so it was a lot. There are questions that I would bring up in board meetings to maybe find some alternative direction if this referendum doesn't pass. But again, I don't disagree with the referendum, because it's obviously getting the voice of the community, and the community will speak at the end of it. If they want a new school to consolidate, 2 into 1 to make a new elementary school, then that's what we're going to do. But at least we'll get the voice of the community again. Yeah, there's a lot of money that's always talked about in deferred maintenance. That needs to be looked into a little bit more. Taking deferred maintenance over 10 years. I mean, there's a lot of money that's lumped into that. So just digging into that a little bit more. There's no easy, right now this is the money you get from here to take to here. So it's gonna take a lot of work and research and doing a lot of that. So. I think the biggest part is just listening and getting everybody's view. I necessarily wasn't going to run the second time either, but being part of the facility advisory committee and seeing the 4 schools of parents and teachers that are sitting in the background and all fighting to keep their schools open gave me a new perspective on we really do need some voice that's then demonstrated on the school board itself. I think the biggest part is just listening to them. I mean, they love their neighborhood schools. I grew up in neighborhoods where those schools were there also. And if we can save them, because that's what they want and that's what's important to them, then I'll try my best. Yeah, I think overall our district is great, right? We offer a lot of programs. We offer a lot of things for our children to do. Getting the word out that our district is, it has all of those things is probably something that we need to look into more in terms of marketing who we are, because we are we're a great community. We have great schools. But a lot of there's a lot of static just because of the things that we're trying to do right now with closures and consolidation. So, getting back to those roots of things of why we're so great is what we definitely need to definitely get the word out. So I think the biggest part is that I have an open mind. I'm not, set in my ways as I do in my career. The more ideas, the better. It only makes you stronger. So if we can communicate all of those ideas from the community, teachers, students, and we bring them together, I think that's one thing that we're missing. We're missing that cohesiveness and entire unit to move in the right direction. I think that we're moving in, there's people that are pulling in the wrong direction, people moving in the right direction, and if we just need to get back to that core system and core values of who we are as a community and not only just a school district too. I guess the biggest thing that I would ask the community, I mean, we have an important election coming up. And the people that are on this board, I mean, there's 2 that are running, but obviously write-ins are something that we need to get from that base, right? And the biggest thing that we need to do as a community is research these people and these people that are going to be your voice, and it's very important. I mean, people are going to see 2 names on that ballot, but there's a ton of people in this race now, especially write-ins. So doing your homework on who you're electing is very, very important. Especially to the future. I mean, these three seats are going to be there for 3 years, and it's very important to get those people in there that you have the same beliefs and values and people that you believe are going to communicate how you want to think as this school district moves forward.